Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. How are we doing so far? Day 2 of FlightSim Expo. You guys have been enjoying the exhibit hall, more than 70 different developers here. I guess the exhibit hall might look a little bit more empty right now because most of you are here, which is good. I guess there's some kind of a presentation going on in this room, something about Microsoft, I think is what I heard. So, like I said, and you've heard me say many times, the support of the developer community and the support of the biggest players in our industry is so critical to making this show happen. We all saw what happened within home flight simulation in 2020. We all saw the trailer that dropped a couple of weeks ago. And so I'm excited and thrilled and mostly privileged to be able to share the stage and introduce to you the Microsoft Flight Simulator team coming to you live from FlightSim Expo 2024. Jorg and Seb, would you please come up on the stage and join me? Thank you guys so much. I'm so happy you're back.
Clicker, very important. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see so many of us. Flight simming, soaring, love it. One thing I wanted to say, when Evan said this is going to be in Las Vegas, I said, man, we're going to have to get some different shirts. So please observe, white. White for the first time. All right, so hi y'all. I am Jorg, head of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Hi, I'm Sebastian, CEO for Sobo Studio.
And so thank you so much for joining us today. It's only our second time we've ever been at the Expo. Last time was really fantastic, and we really couldn't wait to come back this year. And just to get into the mood and to celebrate the Expo, we made, you might have seen it, we made a little city update yesterday, but we have a special version of it today. Just want to play that. You should have seen our audio director's face when I said, just do something that's like Frank Sinatra meets Celine Dion. And he's like, what? Anyways, that's how it came out. Okay. So here we are at the Rio in our wonderful photogrammetry. Hope you like it. So first thing I want to say, like I said last year, thank you for entrusting us with the hobby, and I really mean that. It's been almost 4 years now, and since we released Microsoft Flight Simulator in August 2020, that's how long it's been, and these have been really simply incredible years for us. So thank you for that. For the last 48 months. And here's our journey, that we took together for 48 months. We said, hey, we're going to do monthly updates, and we did. 15 sim updates, 16 world updates, 8 city updates, Xbox, Reno, xCloud, Top Gun, Pelican, 40th anniversary edition, Dune. 48 updates, 48 months, and it's been great. We updated the sim several times, as you know. So we launched on PC first, then brought it out on Xbox. Then we celebrated the Game of the Year edition, where we had jets and things like that. And then we did the 40th anniversary edition just to celebrate the franchise and added helicopters and gliders and a bunch of other things, including an A310. And then just recently, we added IndyBuild's A320. And I think that really raised the bar for what airliners are in the core sim. And it's been really fantastic. I have an announcement. Today, we have reached 15 million unique users. I think it's the highest number ever of any flight simulator in history, and that is really thanks to all of you. There's also an interesting stat, 1 billion flight sessions. I was like digging around, like how many flights have we had? 1 billion. Happened like a week ago. I'm like, wow, I need to share that. 230 million just the last 6 months. Incredible. It's overwhelming, it's humbling. So again, thank you. I want to say something about creators, because the creator community has now created nearly 5,000 add-ons. I did the math, not so hard. 3.5 add-ons per day for 48 months. And it is, so it's 400 aircraft, 2,200 airports, 1,100 scenery, 400 missions, et cetera, et cetera. It's incredible. And I get up in the morning, literally every morning, and the very first thing I do is go on Facebook pages, watch some streamers, and learn about the new things that are coming out. And we had a little fun with this. Somebody from the team did this. So this is how this started. It's like, okay, look at that. Yeah. Holy shit. Unbelievable, just amazing. Then with the community, I think of this as a love story in the making. The passion of you is what fuels us, no question. Here are some of the people that make content creators just fantastic. The way you bring content to us, you humanize the hobby, you make it fun, it's exciting, it's interesting stories, and it wouldn't be half as fun without you. Here's our community team, just to say hello. Here's kind of what we do. We go to fly-in events. We have fly-in events every week. Some of you obviously join these. We have developer streams where we show up so often. We go to Reno. So we have a connection to the real world that we really cherish and treasure, and I think it's important. So we went to the Reno air races for the last few years. We do things with Alaska Airlines a lot, which is sort of their program where they bring in kids just to make sure that the future of aviators are coming through Microsoft Flight Simulator. We go to Gamescom. We have an event there. Some of you are there sometimes. We go to Oshkosh. This year not. Too close to launch. But next year we'll be there again. And then we have great partners. I mean, just look at them. They really make a difference. They bring us to different people, different places, and it's really appreciated. All right. I wanted to say something about 2020 Sustain, because this was a topic. And so we just looked at the 48 months that are passed. Our plans are, when I look at my little status report, we call it, it goes to 2028, and it includes FlightSim 2020. And so the things that I see on that, just sharing this, City Update 18, World Update 38, Local Legends 49, Famous Flyer 22, Sim Update 24. So, yeah, it's not bingo, but this is our plan for updating. So we're going to keep updating. It's nearly every month. It's not exactly every month anymore, but it's nearly every month we're going to have something for FlightSim 2020. Just wanted to say that. And now let's talk about 2024, which is probably why you're here. Yes. So I said a few times, this is a massively huge, ambitious product. It is by far the biggest, most complex flight simulator ever undertaken. I wanted to share teams, and here's some united and excited still, very much so. So this is our team just today. It's not all of us. This is the Microsoft team. We have about 50 people. We have white shirts. Seb was there, so not just Microsoft people.
Oh, this is the team photo taken this week in Bordeaux as of Sobo. So amazing team doing awesome work, working very, very hard to bring you this next version of this
200 people. 200.
Yeah.
Yes, keeps growing. And here's our partners. So there are quite a few on this slide. I want to say that Flight Simulator 2024 is made with 25 teams. When you look at this slide, you will see 13 dev teams and art teams and 2 partner teams. So that makes 15. Simple math, 10 are missing. We're going to announce a few of them today, and a few of them are still coming over the next few months. It's an interesting noise. And then Dustin from the team was nice enough, he made a world map. So we have 800 people working on the sim right at this moment, and we just wanted to show you a little bit where they are. It's interesting. So thank you for all of you creators that help us. It's really fantastic. Well, so it's all continents except Antarctica. I was like, damn, got to find somebody. And then there's the Microsoft teams, Bing Maps, Azure, Cognitive Services, PlayFab, things that don't say that much to you, but I'm serious, this sim wouldn't exist without them. It is critically important, and it's really great that we leverage Microsoft's tech stack, because we get all that for free. So then on 2024, so far we've been super quiet, right? We showed this trailer, people, we showed it at a game show called Xbox Showcase, and we talked about this last year. It was very, gamey. It looked like missions and things and nothing else. We then went to the Expo to explain it a little bit more. We gave a keynote, and in the keynote we said, hey, look, this is exactly what Flight Simulator 2020 is, plus a ton more. So we didn't take anything away. All we did is add. And Seb showed some cool tech, I showed some content, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we really walked out of there feeling like, you got us. Yeah? So good, that was great. And so since then we've kept quiet, and frankly, there was a ton of work. So we just focused on making the sim. And just 2 weeks ago, we returned to that Xbox showcase, showed trailer number 2, and I totally realized, some of you probably said, oh, Jorg, geez, you go back to this game show, what is up with that? I just want to explain this one more time. These shows are watched by tens of millions of people. It is kind of an honor to be there as a flight sim, because we're sitting there against these ginormous games that have tens of millions of users, right? So it's good for us as a hobby to have other people look at us and get interested, and that really has happened, and that is partially why our hobby has grown so much in these last few years. So, but we're here today again to break down the trailer. We talked a little bit about what we're doing, because we didn't want to repeat what we said last year, like kind of high level, what is the sim? So we thought it might be fun. We watched your breakdowns. That was always great. Where we said, look at all that. Said, why don't we do that? And give them a little bit of feedback and just actually what's really going on behind the scenes. So let's go through that. Hopefully it's going to be some fun. So on the surface, it looks kind of similar to the first trailer, which makes sense because it's the same product. But the beginning, very much activity-based. The second part, actually not at all. We sort of divorced ourselves from that. And then the beginning was something completely different, which I called sort of the James Bond intro, action stuff. So I called that creatively the intro. The interesting thing about these trailers is, so we spent, I don't know, 3-4 months on these, and it's quite a bit of work. But what's interesting about it is it focuses us too. So the first step is we want to say things. Like if you remember the first time we showed a 2020 trailer, it was this, long shots of Chicago and like faraway cities, and we said, well, people had not seen that before. In this case, we wanted to show the natural environments are something that people have never seen before. Not on this scale, certainly not on this level of detail. And because we're making a real-world product, we can take real-world photographs as our guide. So took a famous photograph from Monument Valley over here, and then we put it in the sim. Voila. And it looks pretty damn close. Like we didn't do a whole lot. Seb, you might want to talk about the augmentation.
Yeah, so this area is photogrammetry, but what we do is we now have the ground, which is all 3D instead of it used to be 2D with the texture. So the ground is now all 3D. There's a lot of different 3D materials. The grass, the rocks, and the trees. Everything is now 3D as opposed to 2D as it was before. And everything is procedurally generated on top of the existing world data.
Yeah, so photogrammetry, you might remember last year we showed the Grand Canyon, looked cool. This is the same tech. This comes from a partner from Microsoft called Vexcel Imagery, something like that. And they have special cameras with which they fly and make these things possible. This was not possible just a few years back, actually, at this scale. And then this was the second shot. Again, kind of like the same idea. Let's show the breadth and the width. One of the things I thought I wanted to show you, just sort of bloopers. That second shot was this once. I was like, hey, We need to show the living world. Let's make some Mustangs and have Mustangs run around. Well, it turned out to be a huge amount of Mustangs. It started to look like Red Dead Redemption. I'm like, no, let's go back. This is more airplane related, you know. Let's keep up there. Anyways, so then there's this shot which made me really happy. Red Bull was something we tried to get into FlightSim 2020. And it didn't happen, contract stuff. But it happens this time, and I'm super happy that works. There's going to be 2 planes, the MXRS, the Zivco Edge 540 version 2 and 3, and those planes are made by Builds. Excellent partner. And Seb?
Yeah, another interesting detail here is the cones that you actually see here. So we have a new physics engine that does tissue and inflatable stuff simulation. And so the cones here are inflated and simulated completely, and you can fly through and they rip apart into pieces and then they inflate again and all sorts of stuff.
Just like it should be, yeah. This is just our process, right? This was a cool picture from Red Bull. We tried to get this right just to show, hey, there's different liveries, different planes. Same with this. This was sort of the outro shot. And this is the real world shot from Red Bull, where we tried to get as close as we could. I think we did okay. Okay, so then came the second sequence, which I call sort of the core simmer one that we didn't do in 2023. So that was about airports and airliners, because we had kind of omitted that, honestly, in the first trailer. So here we have obviously JFK. You guys picked that up right away, and people noticed the right things. Hey, there's liveries. There's lots of plane models that are interesting, and the airport obviously looks a lot more realistic than it does. So I would say this was the inspiration for this. So just a busy airport, lots of ground stuff going on the ground. There's lots of ground services, obviously airplanes, good-looking sky, and I think we got pretty close. This is what's possible now with the SDK. That is what makes me really happy. This is a moderate amount of work. We took the JFK that we had in 2020 and just upgraded it. Gaia's doing this on their side. And the improvements, I think, are quite dramatic. And you will see a little bit more of this here in the next few slides. All right, here we go. So people said last year, commercial flight, anyone? Why is our commercial flight? Of course it's there. So this time we showed commercial flight. That's one of the big pilot careers. The A330, you guys figured it out almost immediately after like 20 seconds. This is also from Builds. I just wanted to say we're making the A330-200, 300, and the GE and the RR engines.
So I think I've watched a lot of video analyses of the trailer, a lot of speculation on every shot where there is a character walking. Yes, we can now get out of aircrafts, work around aircrafts, and just open the door and go out. And the most important is you have the pre-flight checklist is now also outside, so you can remove the covers and. But that's very interesting.
We've never shown the pre-flight checklist. Oh yeah, announcement, pre-flight checklist. Yeah, keep going.
And so there's also a lot of hidden features in here on this image. For example, the rendering and lighting engine has been completely reworked. Some people may have noticed on some of the 2020 airport images, the aircraft sometimes they're a little bit green from the bottom. Sometimes the colors are not completely exact. So that was the sort of indirect lighting in the world wasn't perfect, and we redid this, and you can see it's now perfect. The bottom is gray, and it makes the whole scene a lot more realistic. Yeah.
All right. Video.
So last year we showed a very quick video about how we can now make much more accurate surfaces. So the aerodynamics is simulated with little surfaces that catch the airflow, and in 2020 there's just a fixed number, and you can't really change. You can just change the scale of it. And in 2024 there's a new system which allows you to just create pretty much anything. And you can see here it has the engines, the fuselage, a lot more detail. You can choose the detail, and it's extremely easy to use. It's optional. You can just add it to the file at the end. And it took us just 1 hour to upgrade this aircraft to the new system. So it's very easy to use.
Yes, you aircraft makers, 1 hour. It's cool. All right, so here we're just showing off ridiculous amounts of detail. Lots of detail. Ah, you have something here, right?
So the little tissue things here are also physically simulated. You can configure length and size, and so not the one on the engine, but the little floaty ones. The one on the engine are not moving in the wind anymore. But the remove before flight thing here, you see the pitot flags, physically simulated. If you want to add that.
Yes. How about this?
A lot of hidden detail in this shot. So maybe technical specialists have noticed something. The shadows don't have any edges, and the shadow of the button is much sharper than the one of the window. So this is all ray tracing here now, and it's super accurate.
Yeah, and here one of the goals for airports was to make them not only prettier but also more alive. And so we have now people walking on walkways. They can also walk inside the airports, and that's completely controllable by you guys if you make airports. So a lot more activity. And here you see one of our character models. It was kind of interesting, you know. Obviously, FlightSim represents the whole planet, and we introduce characters. So that was honestly, we took that very seriously. We need to represent humankind right. And we'll talk about this more at some point. We just see it here. We have made a huge amount of character models, clothing that's appropriate for different regions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We went way, way, way deep. We worked with one of the best companies in the industry. They're called Humane from the UK. They scan the faces of hundreds of actors and things. So it's going to be something. We'll add more detail as we go. We can spend all day here right now talking about this, but it's too much.
And again, you can see the super sharp shadows, which are ray traced here as well.
A little bit far. Okay.
That's me. So on this shot, some analysts, some people have noticed that some of the instruments don't move, or maybe none. So this is very simply work in progress aircraft. Of course, everything is simulated, animated, but when you go into the replay system, some people saw that, it just didn't expose all the variable sleds, so that's going to be obviously moving and animated as it should.
All right, and this one, if you remember the 2020 trailer, this was just a homage. We had a takeoff in San Francisco. This was a takeoff in New York. And here we go. This was a little bit of controversy. I don't think it's answered yet. So this Diamond PC-12 NGX is made by Coronado, not the one that's currently in the marketplace. All right. Monsieur.
So we said that on the previous shot we said that everything was in 3D now, and how is that working? So it's Azure AI again. We use Azure again a lot more this time to know on every image, every area of the planet, the whole planet, is something: stone, rock, sand, grass. What basically is it? And then it assigns the right material and procedurally generates it. And we have close to 30 different biomes for the plants. And so you can see in the distance here, that's an Australian biome, which has the Australian plants and everything, and that's also automatically generated procedurally over the entire planet.
And that's Australian people, and that's Australian cars, and that's Australian everything. So we went way in to make it authentic. The next one is interesting.
Yeah, this is the same location, but in 2020. So you can see the difference. It feels like a flat field, and the vegetation clearly is just all panels, right? Rod shapes, imposters. It's all 3D now, and especially the ground, the stones in the when you look close up, are all in 3D generated mesh.
Yeah, this one was a new game mode. Honestly, it wasn't really planned, but it was so much fun that we said we got to do this. So aerial advertising is in.
Yeah, so important thing here in the video, you see the plane catching the rope. So the rope is actually suspended in the air, and the physics, the rope really impacts the airplane, which impacts the rope. So when you catch it, because the pole is down, you really feel the little pitch down moment. You need to pitch up, full gas, and it's completely realistic, simulated the whole rope physics as well. And here you can see the tissue of the banner, I think it's plastic, unfolding completely as it should, pulled by the plane. And actually, to get the banner right, we had to set exactly the same mass. You know, there's a little bit of weight at the bottom. The upper rope is a little shorter. It's simulated exactly like the real one, and it flaps in the wind exactly like the real banner in the real world advertisement.
Yeah, and then some people noticed the water. Yep, water looks better. That is just due to the lighting system. We didn't do anything else really to make that different. The photogrammetry is the same that we have in 2020. As a matter of fact, we have a new Miami, which is not this. And then we'll get back to the ships later. Hold on to the ships. I saw some comments on ships, and then I couldn't resist. I put my little not so hidden message in there. Sky's not the limit. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that more. Okay, so this is Aspen. Obviously the airport that we had in the original sim, and a word on the Vision Jet. The Vision Jet we already talked about is from FlightFX. That plane has now been added upon by Work and Title. They're adding the cap system. We're working closely with Cirrus, so I think it's going to be a really, really close to the pin edition of the Vision Jet, which is going to be awesome. Questions from Raoul? Oh my.
I think you should explain how that guy got in the plane. This is quite a cool feature. He was walking.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally intentional. That's intentional. Yeah, this is a VIP. So we actually looked a lot like what's a VIP in Aspen look like. We're like, okay, we'll pick this person. But yeah, you fly them around. That's actually a thing. That's what the VIP missions are all about. Yes. All right, in this one, there was some commentary about clouds, and I thought, hey, Seb, this is the Vision Jet in the clouds. Maybe we should talk about some Cirrus clouds. Cirrus Vision Jet, Cirrus clouds. Huh.
So we're improving the cloud system. We have added a few things. So there's a few shots later where it's even more visible, but we added another layer which is Cirrus clouds specifically. And there's been also a few improvements which will be more visible on a later screenshot on how the clouds are lit, depending on how high they are, which makes it a lot more realistic. And that's new lighting engine and new Cirrus clouds. So here again, Azure AI is doing a lot more work this time on the entire planet. So on the entire planet, we're detecting crop fields, where they are, which way they're oriented, because sometimes they have lines, what type of crop. There's 20 or 30 different types of crops, all realistically simulated and automatically put the 3D crops on there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just one word about, we have never talked about this helicopter, so it's obviously Robinson 66. This one and the DART system that's on there, the DART spray system are done by Coronado. Here comes it.
So here we have a little video. So there's so much going on this shot that we actually make a different shot from a different angle. So yes, all the fields here are generated by AI, and it goes all the way to the horizon. And here you can see the CFD, wind flow simulation of the helicopter, moving the air and the grass around. And what we can see in behind is an all-new system. This is a CFD which expands as far as you can see, 6 minutes of history per aircraft. All the aircraft in the world are all simulated with the new CFD system, which is, so it's cascaded, it's a sparse voxel, it's super performant, and it can do wake turbulence for every aircraft in the world, helicopters, everything.
So this scene, I'm excited about this scene because what it means for the sim. So in FlightSim 2024, we have a lot more ships populating the oceans. We have a new data stream, a company that we just signed with called Spire, and we get basically positional data of every ship on Earth, I think every 30 seconds. And we'll use that.
And so if you look into the detail very closely, you may see that the boats actually move with the waves, but this time they're in sync with the waves. So the water of the waves is now really simulated in 3D.
This is one of those bloopers. My first idea, nobody liked it. So we went with a tanker. Yep. So the mission system will, in this example, pick these locations, basically drive you out there, and then you do search and rescue. By the way, this 125 is made by Asobo. We had that in last year's trailer, if you remember the one on the oil platform. And here, you can just see. I can't wait for you to play this. It's so cool, being these people doing these things. All right, Seb, that's you.
So here you can see another instance of the new simulation. So it's a little bit like the banner, but this time it's transporting an AC unit. So you really feel the weight. It's pulling on the aircraft as it should. The aircraft is pulling on the rope. And it adds the whole complexity of flying the helicopter while transporting something. Make it not shake too much. It's really interesting and completely accurate simulation of this box and this rope. And yeah, and you even feel the wind blowing onto the air conditioning, especially in a building like this. It makes it really tricky to land and be accurate to drop it onto the platform.
So on the helipad is obviously LA. So this is LA photogrammetry, and if you notice, the helipad looks really good, I would argue. And this is not the only one we're making. In fact, there's a team that is making every helipad on Earth. And we spent a year and a half researching this. And they're all modeled. I know who that was. And I think we talked about this, but the Ericsson S64 air crane is from Blackbird, and it's amazing. This massive aircraft we had in last year's trailer is the A400M, and that is a highly detailed aircraft from Builds.
And so there's a hidden feature in this image, in this shot, which applies to every propeller, every rotor, is that there is a completely new rendering system of rotors, which doesn't need to have stages of whatever transparency blurring is. It actually multi-samples hundreds of times the actual blade moving on its real speed, real trajectory, and you automatically just get this effect by just modeling a rotor.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about the A400, actually why it's in the fleet, is because it can land on these itty-bitty tiny airstrips. And then some people said, well, we should talk about this. We saw some videos on, hey, there's puddles.
Yeah, so the puddles, it's just because it's an airstrip, so it doesn't over the entire planet puddled. But important here also is the tropical biome. There is a ton of different vegetations, so it's not just people saw it when they looked at the video. It's very different plants, many different, and many different biomes. So it looks really different everywhere you go.
I just want to say we're not entirely sure if we have puddles or not. We will investigate. We think we
on
have
airports, probably.
So this beast, if you ever stood right next to one, this is the AT802 from Air Tractor. It actually looks small. It's a gigantic plane. It's one of the ones that is made by. I think it's 35 feet. 35 feet long and 60 feet wingspan. It's a really huge plane, and you guys are making this.
Yeah. So for the aircraft we're doing upgrading, we actually, like this one, we rented the aircraft, and this time we not just do the mesh scanning or the audio, we also do flight data recording with test pilots, and it provides a much more realistic results in the sim at the end.
And we have a video.
Yeah.
Nothing much to say here. Outside firefighting is cool. All right, explore the world. So this was one of those pictures that I picked. I wanted a famous place that everybody recognizes, at least in America. Most people recognize El Capitan. And then here's a picture of what this currently looks like in FlightSim 2020. You can see a couple of things. So we actually made it POI, for what it's worth. Got the size wrong. Okay. But this is what it looks like now.
So you can see all the trees in 3D, the grass is 3D, much more variety in height and a lot of different grass and plant species. The plane impacts the grass and the ground when it's rolling through it. So you see the grass getting flat, or the terrain has a little if it's puddles or whatever you drive through, you see the impact of the wheels. And accurate 3D collisions, so the ground material really counts now. It's not just all flat. So when you land with a stall, for example, look at what the material looks like, because if it's rocks or so, it's going to be much harder landing than if it's a different type. When you taxi now, if you cut through the grass, you really feel it. You don't want to do that again. You stay on the taxiway. So it makes a big difference.
I crashed a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think backcountry flying is going to be really awesome, because the world looks really, really close to realistic, to the real thing now. I think you can see here like another cool feature, which is dirt accumulation. I think it's really neat. We partnered with a company called Tac Aero. I don't know if you follow those guys. Really cool. So I think in general, I think backcountry, I'm just in love. And then obviously, as we said earlier, you can get out now, and then you want to do stuff, and that is why we have our little, oh yeah, I want to show that. We found that exact shot. So this is where we are now. This is where we are in 2020. Back to now. Now it looks better. Yes. Coming to you soon. And then this is just a, kind of probably a me thing. Like, I love animals. I love doing stuff. I want to be delighted and surprised when we actually land somewhere. I remember there were some add-ons that actually did something similar, which I thought were great. So they're going to be, this is a mule deer. We will have tons of animals, much beyond what we had last time. We actually have a worldwide coverage map, and there will be a day where we talk about this more. Not today. All right, and here we have, there was just another idea. We partnered with this company called FlightSim. I think he's from Italy, who has basically a motor on a balloon. And we found lots of people in the hobby that are a little bit scared of airplanes, actually, but they would like to explore. So we said, why not? Let's go add some balloons, and if you want to go low and slow, you can go do that. This one, you want to talk about lighting?
Oh, yeah, because this is one of the first shots where you see the difference. So the lighting now accounts for the rays going through the atmosphere before they hit the clouds or anything. And that's why you can now have clouds which are, when there's a sunset, white at the top, like the Cirrus, and yellow at the bottom. That's something that was not possible before. That's now possible. And you see a lot more variation in the colors in the sky, especially at sunset and sunrise.
And this eVTOL, I don't know if you know it. I didn't see that many videos that picked out which one it is. So this eVTOL is called the Joby S4, and it's one of the, in my opinion, one of the more promising entries into the air taxi market. And this aircraft is created by FlightFX. This, again, Zeppelins, kind of like, balloons. It's really, really slow, but you can get a certain view of the world that is just different. And social, which I like. And then obviously the lighting here looks awesome.
Yeah, so the lighting is I think it's just the result of the overall process of fixing and improving the formulas and the math of the lighting, and it overall looks a lot more realistic, even though it's actually the same lights in the world, the same meshes. So what has been done before still works. It just works a lot better.
Yeah, so early on here, a lot of people saw that right away. The Twin Otter, yep. Early on when we talked with the design team, hey, what aircraft do we want for the activity system? They said versatile ones, things that can do a lot. Well, the Twin Otter qualifies. So we talked to our friends at Aerosoft and said, hey, let's just take yours. They took it off the market, so nobody buys it, and we then put it out for free, basically. It's going to be almost completely redone. So the art is going to be, actually, we scanned the plane from scratch. Builds is making the art. And Hans and his team are going to upgrade all the systems. And it did make me happy. One of you found the crocodiles and got excited. Yes, right there. You want to say something?
Yeah. So this is one of the 30 new biomes. This is the mangrove biome. Yeah.
All right, and this is just another example of what countryside tin really gives us. This is in the French Alps near Grenoble. So Microsoft bought about 1 million square kilometers of this so far, and we are planning to bring that to FlightSim 2024. And in years to come, this is a process, just saying. In years to come, we will get a lot more. Right now, we have a lot of national parks, those types of famous mountains in Europe, but we will get more and more of this as time goes by. I predict this is going to be our long-term future, that the entire world will look exactly like this. Not much to say here. This is just our dedication to go to the furthest away places possible. So it's just a helipad on I think it's in Ireland or something, I forget. This is homage. I put that shot into the trailer when, if you remember, we were like, hey, you need to take Top Gun out. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. So this is a Top Gun celebration shot. And then here's the verse shot, shows you obviously the A310, the A10. Close. The A10. I don't know if that's publicly known, but that aircraft is created by DC Designs. All right, then here, this sequence added. I think it just shows how low and fast can also be fun. So these ultralights racing, I think is going to be neat. We're doing quite a bit.
And you can see again Azure AI in action, where it detects the roads, the hiking trails, the trees, places everything correctly. Everything is 3D and makes it look much better and realistic close to the ground. This is all 3D grounds. The rocks are placed by AI. You have the cacti, you have the bushes. Everything is 3D meshes and makes it a completely different experience than just a flat ground that we had before. This is the rainforest biome. Yeah. And here you can see seasons in action. Yeah, the sim features seasons. So every tree species, every grass species, every bush has similar support for seasons, and the fields and everything looks different depending on all the different seasons.
Yeah, by the way, the aircraft is called the Magni M24 Orion, and it's made by Blue Mesh. There will be 3 new ultralights in the base sim.
And so I think last year we showed a little bit of this. We wanted to show this shot, this inflation again, but in wireframe. So there's a video. Every little string you see here is physically simulated. Every surface has pressure, convection simulation, and it naturally inflates the balloon just like that. And it's easy to author because this physical mesh is mapped onto the art mesh by sort of a morphing, blending, just like facial animation, which makes it automatically animate a real mesh that can have the shape you want, as long as it's close to the balloon. But this is all physically simulated now. And the lighting, you can see it's slightly translucent tissue lighting through the tissue, through the balloon, and on the ground, realistic translucent tissue material. And this is the perfect shot to talk about cirrus, lighting layers. This would not be possible if we didn't have the different light colors depending on the altitude of the clouds, and you can see the cirrus layer clearly at the top this time.
Yeah, here. So basically, we wanted to show off atmospherics, and what better plane to show it off in than the Osprey? Osprey. My God, I should really stop. The Optica, and the Optica. Some of you guessed this, is actually the Optica from Got Friends, but improved. Your Got Friends.
Again, type of lighting where you have the ground layer, which is dark blue, and you can see behind it's all orange. This is only possible because of this new lighting engine on the sun and the atmospheric real simulation of the atmosphere. Yeah. And so these are realistically, they're animated, they're simulated, it's a shader, it's not a mesh, it's really simulated aurora borealis, and they look amazing. On the right side you can see the new scattering lighting, and it blends with the auroras, really looks awesome.
All right, the sky is calling. Answer the call, and we announced our date. So hopefully this was a little bit of fun, just breaking down the trailer for you guys. Now we go to the next section of this presentation. There's a bunch of chairs because we're bringing in a bunch of partners. So let's talk about partnerships. Thank you, Seb. So FlightSim 2024, I have this new thing. I call it, it's made for the community, with the community. And so development partners, we obviously have the 200 people at Asobo that we already talked about. But we have a large amount of other people that bring in their expertise. And so Asobo is the core, but we're adding people. And the first one you all know and love, working title. The team formed in 2020 out of the community. They had some excellent add-ons, freeware. And I remember calling them and say, hey, do you guys want to do this full time? But they were 5 then. Now they are 25 or 26. Isn't that a great Teams picture? Yeah. All right, and we have a guest today. It's Rob, who will give you a little bit of insight what other things Working Title is working on. All right, Rob Jones. Maybe.
Thanks, Jorg, and hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here at FS Expo to share a little bit about some of the really cool things our team has been working on for FlightSim 2024. For years, flight simmers have had to rely on tools outside of the simulator, external to it, to plan their virtual flights, especially more complex flights. For our team of simmer developers, this presented a huge opportunity for innovation. And we are incredibly proud to tell you that with Flight Simulator 2024, that's all going to change. We are bringing a full-featured flight planning tool to Flight Simulator. Get ready for the for-flight experience directly within the simulator. This new flight planner will be available across platforms, both inside and outside the sim, so you can pre-plan a flight on your browser, your tablet, or even on your phone. Or if you prefer, you can also build and monitor your plan inside the virtual cockpit. Not only can you plan your flight, you can also monitor progress in real time on the map, both inside and outside of the sim. So the flight planner includes a whole ton of features, but there are a few that we're really looking forward to. We're going to give you graphical and text-based route planning, fuel and payload planning, vertical profile planning, ETOPS planning, typical briefing information like weather, NOTAMs, and airport information, and VFR, of course. And VFR, of course, charts, including overlay charts. The map features VFR and IFR views, including procedure overlays and charts. We're also providing both VFR and IFR-focused nav logs and customizable OFPs. The flight planning tool will be available across platforms, including PC and Xbox, web browsers, and mobile devices, and I think you're going to love it. There we go. Yeah, finally, one more thing. It's desynced. Yeah. We know many of you saw the MFS 2024 trailer earlier this month, and that prompted some discussion about the avionics for the included aircraft. So we're excited to announce that one of the platforms we've built for Flight Simulator 2024 is the Primus Epic 2. This modern suite will be available not just in the PC-12 NGX, but like all our other avionics systems, it'll also be available to developers via the avionics framework for third-party aircraft inclusion. So I want to thank Jorg and Seb for the opportunity to give me this, to share a little about some of the projects our team is working on for Flight Simulator 2024, and I can't wait to see you all there in November.
Thank you, Rob. All right, you already showed it a little bit. Climax. Who the hell is Climax? So Climax is a game studio founded in 1988. They were called images studios back in the day. And basically what happened was I looked at all the things we wanted to get done, and we didn't quite have enough people. So I asked Climax if they can help us. And I'd worked with them on, I come from games, right? So I worked with them on Crackdown 3, I worked with them on Age of Empires 4, and they're really, really good. And so the CEO, I know him really well, Simon, and he had a team ready for us, and they will help us with things like Red Bull Air Racing and also Reno Air Racing. And as I went to Reno, so Reno in 2020, I have some regrets on that because I wanted Reno to be played as much as possible, and we put it up as a payware thing. Shouldn't have done that. And we're going to revert that. We're going to put the base Reno experience into the base of FlightSim 2024. And then I know you know about Reno, so I have another partner announcement, and we have Tony. Tony's here. Aha, here's Tony.
Thank you, Jorg. Thank you all. I'm Tony Lagatetta, Chief Operating Officer for the Reno Air Racing Association. We put on the National Championship Air Races, most commonly referred to and known as, including within Microsoft Flight Simulator, as the Reno Air Races. Big button? There we go. One more? Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. So for anybody who doesn't know what we do, I'll do a very, very brief little history lesson here. We are 8 planes racing wingtip to wingtip around a closed course, a closed pylon course, 50 to 250 feet above the ground at speeds up to more than 500 miles an hour. NASCAR in the sky, but a lot faster, right? Plus Stoll Drag, which is a 2,000 foot down and back drag race in an airplane. For the last 60 years, we've been racing over in the skies above Reno, 1964 through 2023. About a year ago, we were informed that we were going to need to find a new home. So for the last year, we've spent most of our time figuring that out, and we recently announced about a month ago that Roswell, New Mexico will be the new home of the National Championship Air Races starting in 2025. So, with that news, and the reason we're all here, of course, I want to talk about our partnership with Microsoft, which started in 2020, and we released, I think in 21, right? Was when the pack finally came out? Yeah. Lots of work, wonderful partnership. The detail that they put in was amazing. It was way beyond anything we could have imagined. I'll stop talking about the future. But it's been an incredible partnership. He's been a pleasure to work with, and the response has been fantastic. So I am incredibly excited to announce right now that Microsoft Flight Simulator will be adding in the new race courses at Roswell to the upcoming release of Flight Simulator. What's really cool about it is it's actually coming out before the race happens. What that means is you all get to fly the course before our pilots get to fly the course. Thank you, Jorg. So I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you so much. We're really excited about it and can't wait to see what the future holds. Thanks, Jorg.
Awesome. All right. Wish list items. We read the wish lists. We know what wish list item 3 is? No? Replay functionality. Yes! Been on the wish list for a while. We always talked about, we're going to try this. And guess what? We found the right partner to get this done. And Fabio, come up here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fabio Merlo, the developer behind the Flight Control Replay Recorder. It's a pleasure to be here in Vegas for FS Expo 24. And thank you to Microsoft and Asobo to invited me. And my passion for flight simulation began in 1994 with the Flight Simulator 4.0. I've enjoyed every iteration of the flight simulator series, and thanks to this passion, I studied and I worked on software development industry. Flight control replay. I developed flight control replay for review my flights, and initially was my personal project, and only after I released it to the community. Yeah, sorry. Go back, yeah. Okay. Today, I'm very excited to announce that the most important feature of a Flight Control Replay version 5 will be integrated in Flight Simulator 2024. Talking about features, will be inside the FCR embedded, will be record and replay feature. In that way, you can save, you can create your flight, save and replay it. There will be also, sorry, I need to start the video one more time. Yeah, okay. We will have an instant replay feature also. This goes a step further, enabling you to quickly review critical moments like landings and takeoff without interrupting your session. You can, thank you. Thank you. You can replay the last minutes of your performance, available in any time. Control it easily via with the time slider, and you can, if you want, you can push on take plane control, take plane control button. In that way, you can sorry. Okay. In that way, you can take the control of your plane. Another feature is ghost plane. Ghost plane is a feature that allow you to use a ghost, and a ghost plane will follow your flight path in real time, and in that way you can enjoy the ghost plane, and you can also customize this experience, trying to configure the distance offset, the degrees angle offset, and the delay offset between the maneuvers that from the user plane and the ghost plane. Okay. Another feature will be Play AI that enable flight formation at another level in replay mode. So you can populate your skies with even more aircraft and with the different. It's a different way to replay because with this feature you can replay your flight path previously recorded with an AI plane. And last but not least, we are introducing also the FCR embedded fly-by camera only for recorded flights. Thank you for your continued support and for joining us today. And thank you to Microsoft and Asobo for this big opportunity for me and for the community. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Fabio. I asked him to come specifically for this over here from Italy, so I really appreciate that you did that. All right, so talked about some dev partners. Now let's talk about some world partners. We're in pursuit of the perfect digital twin, right? So we are doing a lot. So nobody will be surprised. You know about Gaia. They work on most of our world updates and our city updates. There are now over 100 people. I think it's 115, all working on Microsoft Flight Simulator, dedicated with us. So all the POIs that we've seen lately were from them. They also have, not so well known, they have a research team that I utilize quite a bit. They're doing the tin editing. So when you think that the tin cities got a lot better, it's because of them. And there's a lot of stuff that they're contributing to FlightSim 2024. For example, so here is JFK 2020. And here it is in 2024. 2020. 24. Aspen, which I thought looked good in 2020. Here's Donegal in Ireland. So the ground markings are going to be dramatically improved. We'll have a separate dev Q&A or something about this at some point. And then there's something that we haven't talked about at all yet, gliders. Sailplanes, I care a lot about sailplanes, I hope you do too. We are going out of our way to make the sailplane experience really great. This is just one sailplane base or hangar if you want. We're gonna have all of them. It's the first time we made a database, first time called literally every glider school on Earth and said, hey, what do you got? What gliders do you have? What winches do you have? And we are modeling them all. So here you see some of the winches. And it's going to be crazy good quality. Then you saw that one, oil rig, right? FlightSim 2020 had a roll. But we're not just making one oil rig or two or three or that. Well, too far. We're making all oil rigs in the world. And then somebody said something about ships. I was like, oh, I take that challenge. Somebody said, oh, those ships in the trailer don't look very good. True, those were the 2020 ships, but we're making 2024 ships. I just wanted to show you a little bit. So this is the quality you can expect. Fully decked out. You can obviously land on these things when they have a helipad. Here's an image of a trawler. And we're going to have a gigantic fleet of ships. And Gaia's doing a great job on all these. And we had help. You might know Global Ship AI Traffic, maybe. Been around for a long time. So again, this is partnering with the best. Let's embrace the community and the expertise that exists. So Henrik Nielsen launched Geist as freeware back in 2013 on FSX. Then it became freeware from then on. There's contributors out of 15 countries, and he helped us a lot with our selection of the fleet and how do we really break all this down. And hey, I have a picture of him right here. He couldn't make it today. The man is gainfully employed, right? So he's somewhere in South America, I think, right now. But he's been a great help to us. And we also get help from Kai. I don't know if you know Kai. He is in the Alpha India group, AIG. You might know them. He's been there since 2012. And he worked with Henrik on global AI ship traffic live. And I don't know if you followed it. That went away because the data provider was bought. And so I basically called him and said, hey, we're trying to do something similar. So we're feeding them the data. As I said earlier, it's a company called Spire. And these guys are helping us making the ship selection good and also making sure that the traffic feels right. So it's going to be great. Another partner, which doesn't need any introduction, as a matter of fact, check out your lanyard. The name is right on there. Microsoft has been working with Orbix for a number of years. They obviously made World Update, I don't know if you know this, but World Update 7, Australia, 12, New Zealand, and 13, Oceania were made by them. They made 2 aircraft, the Fokker F7 and the Caribou. And then less known is they are the team that is doing our DEM collection and DEM editing. So when we do world updates, for example, the nice new terrain that we get is coming through the Orbex team, as well as work on the World Hub management. And then today we have Holger here, Holger Sandmann, Holger, to talk us through some maybe not so expected projects that they're also working on for FlightSim 2024. Here it comes. Whee!
Hello, everyone. It's good to see that Orbix can draw a great crowd. Sorry. Oh, here we go. I am the head of the geospatial team at Orbix, and I've been with the company for about 15 years, in fact over 15 years, and during that time we have created and developed a large expertise in dealing with large geospatial databases and processing them and then transforming them into these regional and sometimes global projects that we've been creating for a long time now. And the reason I'm showing you this particular map, which is basically just your standard VFR map, is that it contains a type of spatial data that are very important to pilots, and those are vertical obstructions or obstacles. And as you may know, so they are contained in this map as symbols basically, but obviously they are in the landscape and pilots are trying to avoid them, but also use them as important navigational landmarks. So in Microsoft 2020, so in the current version of the sim, as you probably know, they are very poorly represented, I should say. And that is, so there are a handful of the largest antennae or towers, television towers, that have been modeled as individual POIs in world updates or in the core sim. But beyond that, it's basically not represented at all. In fact, if you fly at night, you've probably seen those red hovering lights, which are the obstruction lights for specific tall masts and antennae, but the models themselves don't exist. So during the day, you don't see anything there. And that means basically that there are thousands, in fact hundreds of thousands of these important objects missing. And so Jorg and myself and our team discussed for quite a while ago, actually, this shortcoming, and it didn't take us very long to decide that we should do something about this. And so we started on a project that will encompass and include all of these vertical obstructions. And so that includes antennas, towers, cooling towers, and other similar objects, wind turbines, those kinds of things. Yeah. The clicker is, yep, slow.
I will try it, not that I'm better. Maybe the battery's empty.
Yeah, possibly, of course. So this was about 18 months ago that we started on this project. So we've been into this for quite a while, and obviously when we started, we were also aware that there's already a project out there which is very popular. It's a freeware project called We Love VFR, which is done by, that's right. It's basically a husband and wife team from Poland, and they've been actually doing a similar kind of project or had a similar goal since the release of Microsoft 2020. So we reached out to them and asked them whether they wanted to join the project, and they were very excited to do that. And so we are partnering with Puff in Flight, which is the name of that company, and we'll together work on this obstacle database. And to give you an idea of the scope that's involved, thank you. So these are just a few of the data points, actually, of one of these obstructions. So these are, like I said, tall masts, antenna, and it's more than 500,000 individual objects across the globe, so a lot of them. And that obviously presents a number of large challenges as well. So first of all, there are obviously published databases for some of these obstructions, but they're often very inconsistent in terms of their quality, especially the kinds of data points or parameters that we require, which is basically an exact location, given that Microsoft Flight Simulator is orthophotography based, so you would actually see the footprint of the individual objects on the ground. So if it's 100 meters left or right or even further, then that is already not a very good outcome. And then the same thing is that even the basic parameters like height or type are often not really very accurate and correct. So the first challenge for us was to basically find all the available data and then sift through them in terms of quality, what we can retain, what has to be replaced, what has to be checked. And so this is basically a very large database-driven project. So we are not talking about creating individual models for each of these antenna, which is obviously not possible if you're talking about 500,000 or more objects, but rather we build a database, and for each of these points, each of these structures, which as many as parameters that describe the type, shape, height, color, the different types of lights. And then we have a library of models and objects, parts of objects, that will then basically assemble, pick the most relevant and similar object type and build basically these objects into scenery. Next slide, please. And so these are just more kind of similar slides that show the number of objects involved. And I do want to point out, even though that typically in these cases, most of the data points are in Europe and in North America and perhaps Oceania, we are striving to make this a truly global product, which means, or feature of the new simulator, I should say. And this means that we have actually paying attention to all the smaller countries and African, Asian countries everywhere. So we are striving to have a consistent global data set that then will build actually the antenna and other obstructions across the globe. Thank you. So we don't have any direct screenshots to show you yet, but we have just a few towards the end here, a couple of examples of before and after. So this is what it currently looks like. This is a power plant in the simulator, and then afterwards with the cooling towers and the chimneys and associated visual effects. And then this screenshot shows you the diversity of antennas. So we're not going to place the same object, as I mentioned, everywhere, but rather we have our database, and the database will actually inform what kind of objects we will place. And so even a grouping of antenna will represent the real world as closely as possible. So we do believe that this is a major step forward for flight simulation in general for us, but also personal for me. I think it's fascinating that this is actually an example of how flight simulation drives the development of a database that doesn't even exist today for commercial aviation. So the consistency, the quality, the accuracy, that is our goal, and we hope to achieve that. And this will be incorporated in the core sim for both 2024 and 2020. All right, thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Well, thank you, Holger. We're way over time, so I'm gonna, yeah. Hey, Evan, sorry, I don't know where you are. Aircraft partners. So we've announced a bunch, but we are striving to work with the best. And here's a new announcement for today. And we have another speaker. Raimund Kuhlmann is here.
Thank you, Jorg. Hi, guys. First of all, thank you to this awesome community. You're the best, really. It says Raymond Kuhlmann, I think, but you know me better as Scott Gravel, probably. And I'm coming here and show you a few cool things. Now, you've seen this wonderful aircraft. It is designed from scratch again, the Optica. Beautiful aircraft observation. You're gonna love it in VR. It's great. This is our team. Fresh photo. They're sitting over here. We all love you. You know that. This now, gliders. We love gliders. You know, got friends loves gliders. But we needed something more. We needed world-class avionics in modern gliders that really that can take your glide to the next level. Basically, you needed a flight computer that takes Microsoft Flight Simulator flight plans and converts them into popular gliding tasks that do live calculations to waypoints, give you arrival height, everything you use all the way to finish. So that opens the way for Xbox as well to finally use this. So we're getting a real good flight computer, the LX family. We roped in the support from Ian, also better known as B21. He's been doing this for a long time also. It's designed from scratch, wonderful flight computer, very capable, highly configurable. You have dark mode, light mode, and you can turn off all this data visualization that you see. You can configure it completely to have more data or more map visibility. It's really up to you, and that really will help your glide to plan everything better with all the thermals, everything. Super capable. It's too much to cover right now, but trust me, it's going to be wonderful. It's a suite, so it's not just the LX navigation computer. It is also an LX Vario, and not what you have now. This is going to be a very potent one. It's complete. It provides all the speeds that you expect. So it has netto, total, speed to fly, McCready. It has various pages. There's a wind speed page. There's as you can see here, artificial horizon page as well, settings. And because it's a suite, they work together. So if you set your metrics for one, it will be automatically the same in the other. So this is a lovely suite you will find in the gliders that are coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Aircraft announcement. You ready for it? I hear a lot of guessing online. Yeah, you don't want me to keep you waiting, is it? Okay. Here's one. Now, some of you may wonder, what is this thing? It's a wonderful glider. It's kind of a luxury glider. It is a side-by-side, self-launching glider that has a combustion engine, a Rotax 914. It is the STEMI S12. Hard to afford in the real world. This thing is very expensive, but who cares? We're here. We can all fly it now. So it's a beautiful machine. We went all out for realism. The solar panels you see here actually working, taking into account the position of the sun, the latitude you're at. So it really absorbs the right amount of solar power to help charge your systems if your engine is off. Wonderful detail, I think. It looks really good. Avionics, they will be here, the LX navigation suite as well. Very functional. Even the choke is working on it. So yeah, we went all out here. You're gonna love it. It glides really majestically, as you would expect. It's 25 meters. It will not be as nimble as a 15. The flap system is fully functional in a way that you would expect for gliders, because when you select a flap on a glider, it's a bit different from a normal aircraft. On a glider, a flap tends to settle you in a certain speed, and it does exactly that. So if you go for your full negative flaps, it tries to settle above 100 knots, and if you go down, it tries to go slow. So it is like your gears in a car, as it works in the real thing. It's beautiful. Very, very stable aircraft because it's so big. Back to you, Jorg.
All right, another partner announcement. I just said inventor, and then I said, I'm just not going to say anything. The guy can talk for himself. Here we go.
Hello, welcome all you Microsoft Flight Simulator fans. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Mike Patey. I like to build wild, crazy flying machines, from backcountry bush planes that carry motorcycles to my legendary bush plane called Draco, which unfortunately I crashed, but I'm bringing it back bigger, better, more power. Over 1,000 horsepower jet engine turning propeller to fly and build the craziest bush plane ever made. That is now underway in my shop, but for those of you who love Flight Simulator, this aircraft is Draco X, the new, bigger, more improved backcountry radical bush plane. And with the modern technology we have today, you get to fly it on simulator while I build it in the shop. The technology allows us to put in that over 1,000 horsepower, the bigger wings, all the modifications I'm doing in real life, and you're gonna fly it first because Microsoft is paired with me to bring that to you early. So welcome to Draco X. Follow on my channel, MikePatey.com is my website, Mike Patey YouTube channel. Enjoy the build, fly the plane while I finish the bigger, badder, better Draco X. Love you guys, back to work.
And here it is. And who's making this thing? Yes. All right, and then we have one last thing. Oh, yeah, I wanted to say, so just to repeat, built for the community, with the community. I hope you saw that today. There's a Sobo, working title, and a whole bunch of other partners, and it's going to make the best sim ever. So I'm very grateful for these partnerships. Here we are now. I think we added a few. I think we're now at 18 or something, so there's another 10 to come for the coming months. Fun is not over. Oh yeah. Here comes the one more thing. Something I'm very happy to announce. Now, close. Asobo's most complex plane ever made. Seb, come on. I'll click for you. Whoa. Hmm? You can have mine.
Yeah. So, have you guessed what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. So we can a lot of detail on this airplane. Yeah.
It's awesome. Just say it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So we'll be part Boeing 737 MAX 8 will be part of the base simulator. Yeah, 2024.
Alrighty, that was it. Thank you. I hope you had fun. I hope it was interesting. And I hope you feel like we do, that the best days for flight simulation are still ahead. The sky is calling. I'll see you all there.
Before we all go, I know there are, well, first of all, there were some amazing reactions on the stream. I was watching all the chats, but of course there were even better reactions here in the room. I know we are a bit over time, but I thought if people might have any questions, we could take a few questions? What do you think?
We can take some questions.
Yeah? So there are some microphones out there in the room if you guys would like to stand up and make a line. I know it'll be a little bit tricky to get in too many questions, but we'll try and take at least a few. For those of you watching online, do remember as well, this is FlightSim Expo 2024 in Vegas. We have another day. If you want to come and ask these people some questions in person, you can come here tomorrow.
Tomorrow is another presentation about the marketplace. It's going to be super interesting.
And that as well, yes.
Come.
So, Jorg, I'll leave you in the panel to take some questions. You've all got your microphones. And
I think you'll have the...
You want me to help out?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's start on this side then, please. Just say your name, where you're from, and then you can ask your question. And if we can just make sure the microphone on this side is on, please, guys. Should be able to just speak right into it. Okay, how about this side? Is that one miking? Yeah, that sounds like it's working. Go ahead. Name, where you're from, and your question.
Yeah, my name's Mark. I'm from Chicago. And first of all, thank you all and to the entire team. My question is specific to the mission system and whether or not that's going to be exposed through the SDK. Will we be able to create our own mission structures and build those into the game? We haven't gotten a lot of detail about that yet. Ultimately, what I would love to see is a career mode built into the core sim.
Yeah, so we have a career mode. I think you know that. Maybe, you're right, we haven't talked about it a ton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much to be said. I would just say we're really trying to do it in such a way that you can pick your aviation passions.
Okay.
So you have to go through certifications. It's not at all a game. Like, it really isn't. So you have to go earn the certifications for the planes that you want to fly, to the missions that you want to go to, where they are. So but there's a lot to be said. I think we'll have to take this offline, unfortunately.
They do have a nice booth just outside as well. Okay, over here, please.
Hi, guys. I just want to say you've made the most beautiful sim that we've ever seen.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I would like to talk about covering it up. We got to talk about visibility.
Oh, visibility.
You know, in the fact that you've made this beautiful sim, but I want to see, are you making better controls that we can get to that quarter-mile visibility, that 1,000-foot RVR? You know, those sorts of controls that we can really test instrument flying skills. So what are you guys doing about that? Are you allowing for third-party weather injection? Those sorts of things? Really want to dial in that visibility and cover up this beautiful sim with some fog or clouds or other things like that.
I can, yeah. So what I can say is we're working on improving it, and obviously we're gonna say more in the future.
Okay.
And right now in the sim in 2020, if you want to experience, I think with the cloud layer you can do a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
So yeah, I really, you got the 1,000-foot RVR, the 600, get the visibility down.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll go over to the next slide, please.
Well, I want to say something.
Sorry.
About the weather system thing. I wanted to say something too. So we are going to talk to Media Blue about this, right? We talk about it in Dev Q&As all the time. We're going to see if there's a way for us to go share the weather data. And I've already said I don't have any misgivings to Active Sky or other things that people like. So let's go do it. Why not? Right.
Sure.
Yep. We're looking into this topic. That's for sure.
Oh, good. Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Hey, I'm Chris Smith. I'm from Seattle. Love the sim. The only issue I have right now is with thunderstorms at higher altitudes. So if you're doing a long haul flight across the country and you see weather on the radar, thunderstorm buildup, you don't see that in the sim. You maybe see it lower down, but you don't see it en route, and you don't have to deviate for weather at all. So if you could bring back thunderstorms at higher altitudes where you have to deviate, like real pilots do, that'd be awesome. Thanks. I don't know. Are you working on that, or?
So it's interesting. As I just said, we did talk to Media Blue a little bit, and what data they have available, and there seems to be something about thunderstorms. So we need to look at this more. But we hear you. Feedback, yep, noted.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Tim Wells.
Tim Wells, go ahead.
Hello.
No sound. Okay, there we go. Tim Wells from Ohio, and are you going to have the ability to assign controller profiles per aircraft?
Yep.
Awesome.
That was easy. Apparently, this is the content creator side, and this is the other person's side. I don't know. Go ahead, guys.
Hello, Flight Switch Joel, Eugene, Oregon. I flew here with that guy in the end from Seattle. Anyways, my question is helicopters. Glad to finally have them in the sim. We are happy that they are improving. The new ones look great, but I want to know, are they going to fix in this the current sim and especially the new sim? There are some minor things like the turbine engine's not working right, the needle's not splitting. If you're a helicopter pilot, you know what I'm talking about. Auto rotations still don't work. And so for us who fly helicopters, even as amateurs, it'd be just great to know, my community wants to know if that's going to improve or if you're even looking at those things.
So yeah, we have people working on the turbine thing. That's one question. So that should improve. And auto rotation, maybe we can talk about it later because I can do it in the sim. So I don't know what the issue is.
So maybe we'll take that at the booth tomorrow? All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Right over here, please.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Raul from FS Reborn, representative from third party now, raising a question. First, a special thanks on behalf of the third community for listening to the features that we've been asking for a while. I did specifically ask Sebastian last year about allowing us to get out of the plane and walking. So thank you very much for doing that for us. I can see a lot of improvement on the sim and want to bring actually a little bit of cheer up after those questions. I talked to Seb about the weather a few minutes ago before coming in here. I explained the problem and now he understands it. You guys have to give them a break. They just need to understand things sometimes better. And as you have seen all the features that I put in, we talk to them and they are there, right? So just be happy. I can see the amount of improvement that we're having is just incredible. Now, my personal question is passengers. I saw passengers moving. I saw passengers walking around planes. Can you guys share a little bit of information how we as a third-party developers can use that as an improvement for our products?
There are spawn points that you can set so for the jetways you can, and inside the airports you can, and then there's also, we haven't shown this at all, inside the aircraft.
They will join the aircraft, and then like we saw on the Zero Jet.
I can't hear you quite right, but I believe the answer is yes.
Right. Okay. I take it as yes then.
Yeah, just take it as a yes.
Thank you very much. So we've got time for just, I think, two more maybe. So one from over here and then one from over there. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Stephen Waters. I'm from New York, JFK, my home airport. I just wanted to say thank you very much for creating this simulator to get us out in the world and exploring the world. It's helped me understand this world that we live in so much better. I do have 3 questions, and I'll save the other 2
It's got to be just one.
Just save the other 2 for tomorrow.
Thank you.
My question that I think everybody here is wondering, the 737 MAX, is that going to be paid up option like the 787 was, or is it just free for everyone?
None of the planes we showed, all of the planes we showed, don't say negative, positive. All the planes we showed are in the base sim.
Great, and thank you.
Yeah.
VFR map, are you touching that, the one that you push V? Are you touching that and updating that? That's my second question.
We didn't get you.
The VFR map, when you push V on the keyboard,
Yeah.
are you updating that map with topography and other data?
We don't know the answer. We suck.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I'm told that's all the time we have for questions. I do appreciate everyone's patience with that. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank
of
you
course,
all.
You can find them at the booth. Appreciate everybody, and thanks, guys. And just one more quick programming note for everybody. Howard, and that's Forder Learn to Fly, our session designed for new pilots and new flight simmers will be coming up right after this. If you need to take a quick stretch and a quick break, we'll come back and wrap that up for the end of the day.